পৃষ্ঠা 277 continued. Indirect speech. We can report what people say in two ways. লোকে যা বলে অর্থাৎ তাদের কথা বা উক্তিকে আমরা দুটি উপায়ে বর্ণনা করতে পারি। Direct speech, he said, quote, "Are you ready? ? Unquote. Indirect speech, he asked if I was ready. Direct speech. Direct speech is the exact words of the speaker put in quotation marks. Direct speech হলো উদ্ধৃতি চিহ্নে তুলে ধরা বক্তার হুবহু কথা। Features of direct speech. 1. The actual words of the speaker, বক্তার আসল কথা। 2. Original speaker's point of view, আসল বক্তার দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি। 3. Use of quotation marks, উদ্ধৃতি চিহ্নের ব্যবহার। পৃষ্ঠা 278। Indirect speech. পৃষ্ঠা 278। Indirect speech. Indirect speech is the message of the speaker's words represented in the reporter's words. It is a version of previous utterance presented in a noun clause. Indirect speech হলো প্রতিবেদকের কথায় বক্তার কথার মূল বার্তা। এটি নাউন ক্লজে উপস্থাপিত পূর্ববর্তী উচ্চারণের একটি সংস্করণ। Features of indirect speech. 1. The speaker's message in the reporter's words. প্রতিবেদকের ভাষায় আসল বক্তার বার্তা বা মূল কথা। 2. The reporter's point of view. প্রতিবেদকের দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি। 3. Grammatical changes. ব্যাকরণগত পরিবর্তন। The essential grammatical changes in indirect speech: person, place, time or tense, clause type, punctuation mark. Change of narrative mode from direct to indirect. When someone's words are reported indirectly, we make some grammatical changes to the words used in indirect speech. কারুর কথা যখন পরোক্ষভাবে বলা হয় তখন প্রত্যক্ষ উক্তির কিছু শব্দের ব্যাকরণগত পরিবর্তন করা হয়। দ্য চেঞ্জেস আর, পরিবর্তনগুলি হল: 1. রিপোর্টিং ভার্ব। দ্য রিপোর্টিং ভার্ব ইজ চেঞ্জড অ্যাকর্ডিং টু দ্য মিনিং। অর্থানুযায়ী রিপোর্টিং ভার্বটি বদলে যায়। 2. লিঙ্কার। এ লিঙ্কার ইজ ইউজড টু লিঙ্ক দ্য রিপোর্টেড ক্লজ উইথ রিপোর্টিং ক্লজ। রিপোর্টিং ক্লজের সঙ্গে রিপোর্টেড ক্লজটিকে যুক্ত করতে একটি লিঙ্কার লাগে। 3. Pronouns and demonstratives. Pronouns are generally changed to the third persons and demonstratives are changed to the remote forms. প্রোনাউনগুলি সাধারণত থার্ড পার্সনে এবং ডেমনস্ট্রেটিভগুলি দূরবর্তী রূপে পরিবর্তিত হয়। 4. Tense forms of the verb. Tense forms of the verbs are generally changed corresponding past tenses. ভার্বের টেন্স সাধারণত সংশ্লিষ্ট অতীতকালে পরিবর্তিত হয়। Note: The choice of tense forms depends on the situation. পরিস্থিতির ওপর নির্ভর করেই টেন্স ফর্ম বেছে নেওয়া হয়। 5. Time and place words. Time and place words are changed to more remote forms. সময় এবং স্থানসূচক শব্দগুলি দূরবর্তী রূপে বদলে যায়। Change of sentence, clause type. All the main sentences types, that is, statements, question, directives, desires, and exclamations, may be converted into indirect speech. When direct speech is converted into indirect one, all types of sentences become assertive or declarative. সব ধরনের বাক্যই অর্থাৎ বিবৃতিমূলক বাক্য, প্রশ্নবাক্য, অনুজ্ঞা বাক্য, ইচ্ছাসূচক বাক্য এবং আবেগসূচক বাক্য পরোক্ষ উক্তিতে পরিবর্তিত হতে পারে। প্রত্যক্ষ উক্তি যখন পরোক্ষ উক্তিতে পরিবর্তিত হয় তখন সব ধরনের বাক্যই অ্যাসার্টিভ বা ডিক্লারেটিভ বিবৃতিমূলক বাক্যে রূপান্তরিত হয়। ডাইরেক্ট স্টেটমেন্ট, indirect statement is equal to declarative that clause. He said, quote, "It is a good idea," unquote. He said that it was a good idea. Direct question, indirect question is equal to declarative WH clause, declarative if clause. He said, quote, "Who is she?" unquote. He asked who she was. He said, quote, "Are you a doctor?" unquote. He asked if he was a doctor. Direct directive, indirect directive is equal to declarative that clause to infinitive. The teacher said, quote, "Be quiet," unquote. The teacher told everyone to be quiet. To be quiet. The teacher said, quote, "You should read the textbooks carefully," unquote. The teacher suggested that they should read the textbooks carefully. পৃষ্ঠা 279. Direct desires, indirect desires is equal to declarative that clause. He said, quote, "You may shine in life," unquote. He wished that I might shine in life. Direct exclamations, indirect exclamations is equal to declarative that clause. Quote, "What a brave man you are!" Exclamation, unquote. He said. He exclaimed that he was a very brave man. Some common changes in pronouns, adjectives and determiners. Direct speech, I. Indirect speech, he or she. Direct speech, me, him or her. Direct speech, my, his or her. Direct speech, we, they. Us, them. Our, their. This, that, it. These, those. Some common changes in the tense forms of the verb. Direct speech, simple present. Indirect speech, simple past. Present continuous, past continuous. Present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous. Simple past, past perfect, simple past. Past continuous, past continuous, past perfect continuous. Past perfect, past perfect. Past perfect continuous, past perfect continuous. Simple future, future in the past. Some common changes in time and place words. Direct speech, indirect speech. Now, direct speech now, indirect speech. Then, at that time, immediately. Ago, before, earlier. Just, then. Hence, thence. Today, that day. Tonight, that night. Yesterday, the day before, previous day. Last night, the previous night. Tomorrow, the next day, the following day. 2 days after tomorrow, 2 days later. Next day, the following day. This week, that week, last week. পৃষ্ঠা 280. Direct speech, this month. Indirect speech, that month, last month. Last year, the year before, the previous year. Here, there. Come, go. Change from direct speech to indirect or reported speech. Statements. Direct. He said, quote, "I know the answer," unquote. Indirect. He said that he knew the answer. He said, quote, it is a problem, unquote. He said that it was a problem. Timeless statements. Direct, he said, quote, New York is livelier than London, unquote. Indirect speech. He said that New York is livelier than London. He said, quote, I always take tea at breakfast, unquote. He said that he always takes tea at breakfast. Yes, no questions. Direct, quote, are you busy, unquote. He asked. Indirect, he asked if I was busy. He said to me, quote, do you want to stay here overnight, unquote. He asked me if I wanted to stay there overnight. WH questions. Direct, quote, have you done it, unquote. He asked. He asked if I had done it. Indirect. He said, quote, where were you so long, unquote. He asked where I had been for so long. Imperatives. Direct, quote, could you please hand me the book, unquote, he said. Indirect, he requested me to hand him the book. Quote, don't worry, unquote, he said. He told me not to worry. Wishes or desires. Direct, quote, may you shine in life, unquote, he said. Indirect, he wished that I might shine in life. He said, quote, may God give us strength to serve our country, unquote. He prayed that God might give them strength to serve their country. Exclamations. Direct, quote, goodbye, my dear friends, unquote, he said. He bade goodbye to his dear friends. He said, quote, alas, I am ruined, unquote. He lamented that he was ruined.